everyone, it's Jamie. Welcome back, and if you're new here, then welcome. In today's video, I will be showing you how I made this super cute bunny wreath using the Dollar Tree wreath frame. So if you'd like to see how I do this, then please keep watching. I'm going to be using one of the bunny wreath forms from Dollar Tree and one of the round 14-inch wreath forms from Dollar Tree. I also will be using some of the chunky yarn from Walmart. First, I'm going to wrap the ears of the bunny frame with the yarn. I start by just tying off the yarn, but you can add hot glue if you prefer. And then I just start wrapping. You don't want to wrap too tight or too loose, just with a little tension so the yarn doesn't slip off. Once the ears are wrapped, I will be using 2 rolls of this 10-inch by 30 feet white polypro mesh from Hobby Lobby. I'm going to take a zip tie and start by placing it crossways under the first seam weld. Next, I take the end of the deco mesh and gather it up, then place it on top of the seam weld over the zip tie. I make sure to tuck the end of the mesh in between the rails so that it is on the back of the wreath. Then I snip off the end of the zip tie. Then I'm going to take a pipe cleaner that I have cut in half because you don't need a full pipe cleaner, and I'm going to wire the 2 inner rings together. Now I'm going to take the mesh and pull it out 6 inches. Once I get the 6 inches measured out, I then take that and place it in the center of the pipe cleaner, then twist it a few times and snip off the end and tuck it over. Then I'm going to fluff out the bubble and push it up and make sure it's fluffed out. Then I'm going to do the same thing by placing another half pipe cleaner on the 2 inner rings, then measuring out another 6 inches, then placing that in the center of the pipe cleaner, twisting the pipe cleaner a few times, then snipping off the end and folding it over. Then I push it up next to the first bubble, making sure to fluff out the bubble. I will go through and add 8 bubbles to each of the 4 sections. Once I get to the last bubble, I'm just going to cut off the mesh, then tuck the end to the back to get it out of the way. And this is how it should look once all the bubbles are on. Next, I'm going to move on to the 14-inch wreath frame. This wreath frame has 6 sections. I will be adding the bubbles to the 2 inner rings, so I'm going to start with a zip tie and place it going crossways under the weld seam. Then I will do the same as the bunny wreath and take the end of the mesh, gather it up, then place it over the weld seam, just over the zip tie, then secure the zip tie and snip off the end. Next, I will add a half pipe cleaner to the 2 inner rings. The bubbles will be 8 inches, so just like the bunny wreath, I'm going to measure out 8 inches. Then take that to the center of the pipe cleaner. Give it a few twists, then snip off the end and tuck it over. Then I spread out the bubble and push it up. I'm going to do the same thing by taking another half pipe cleaner and wiring the 2 inner rings together, then measuring out 8 inches, bringing that to the center of the pipe cleaner, twisting it a few times and then snipping off the end and tucking it over. Then I fluff up the bubble, and push it up to meet the first bubble. I will go and add 7 bubbles to only 5 of the sections. Now I have 5 sections done. On the 6th section, I will only be adding 3 bubbles. So you will have a space that will not have any mesh in it. Now I have both wreath frames done, I am going to attach the 2 frames together. First, I flip the wreaths over. Then where the bigger wreath has that space, I'm going to take the bunny head and slide it down under the first 2 rings, then push it over the 3rd ring. Add zip ties to secure it. I put zip ties where I thought they would hold the bunny head firmly in place so that it wouldn't flop around. Next, I'm going to make a bow. I will be using my bow dabra and this 1.5 inch wide wired ribbon from Walmart and this 1.5 inch wide wired ribbon from Dollar Tree. I'm going to start by dovetailing the end. Then I measure out a 9-inch tail, twist, and then put it in the bow dabra. Then I measure out a 5-inch loop by lining the bow dabra up on the 10-inch mark, then measuring out my loop. Then I go to the other side and measure another 5 inches. Then I do another loop. Then I do another loop and make it 4.5 inches. Then make another 4.5 inch loop on the other side. Then I measure out 9 inches, cut off the end, and then dovetail it. I then move on to the next ribbon. I dovetail the end and then measure out 8.5 inches for the tail, twist, then slide down my bow dabra. Then I measure out a 4.5 inch loop. Then another 4.5 inch loop on the other side. I will do another loop measuring out to 4 inches. Then another 4-inch loop on the other side. I then measure out a 3.5 inch loop. I go to the other side and measure out another 3.5 inch loop. Then I measure out 8.5 inches for the tail and cut it off and dovetail the end. I then take a pipe cleaner and fold it in half. Then I slide the bow up out of the bow dabra and tie it together with the pipe cleaner, twisting a few times to secure it. Next, I'm going to fluff the bow out a bit by taking the ribbon tails and pulling them all to where they are pointing downward. Then I just go in and separate the loops and fluff them out the way that I want them. Now I'm going to attach the bow to the wreath. By taking the legs of the pipe cleaner, I'm going to spread open the mesh a bit so that I can find where the head and the body meet. Then I'm going to feed the pipe cleaner through to the back, then twist the pipe cleaner to secure it. At this point, you can cut the pipe cleaner off or just fold and tuck it under like I did. So then I flip it over and fluff the bow out a little. I will fluff it out better after I'm done with the wreath. Next, I'm going to take 2 of these felt bunny paw prints from Dollar Tree and some of the chunky yarn, and I'm going to add a thin line of glue around the edge of the paw print and start gluing the yarn down. Lastly, I'm going to glue the bunny paws down by adding hot glue down the middle of the paw print, then placing it on top of the mesh. And here is how the wreath turned out. I think it's super cute. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button before you leave. I hope you all are having a wonderful day. I wanted to thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye!